Derbyite, we're back for episode 10 of season 5 of your favourite show, Outlander. I'm Rob LeCourier, senior editor at Gold Derby, and I'm joined once again by Uber fan Paul Sullivan LeCourier. Welcome back.
Hi.
Now, we're here to talk about Mercy Shall Follow Me, written by Megan Farrell-Burke and directed by Annie Griffin. Yet another episode with a full all-women team. Wonderful to see. This is what Stars tells us the synopsis of the episode is. Jamie and Roger implement their plan to eliminate the threat looming over their family, but it goes awry when their prey proves more devious than expected. Brianna is forced to confront her greatest fear and fight for her and her son's lives. I loved this episode. I really, really did. I'm a big fan of Ed Spielers, who plays Stephen Bonnet. He's a villain with nuance. He is really a really interesting villain to follow. And I had no idea how this episode was going to end, and I was very satisfied with the way it did end, even though it wasn't the perfect ending, but it really excited me. What were your thoughts overall for the episode?
That's a lot to digest. Okay, I enjoyed it, but I knew what was coming. But look, I was happy with the ending. I just felt it wrapped up a little too quickly. I'm happy that he got his comeuppance. Honestly, I truly am, because, you know, it's the way villains go. But I just thought it was very quick. Like, you know, we go through the whole episode of the kidnapping and being held hostage, and then all of a sudden it's like, he's been tried, and then he's, you know, being condemned to death. I don't know. I guess I would have liked a little bit more of a wrap up. But yeah, that was the only thing I'd have to say about it. But I did enjoy the episode.
Well, there's a lot to unpack, but really, I mean, I've already touched on this, but Ed Spielers. I hope that Stars is able to submit him in guest acting at the Emmys. I have to check how many episodes he's been in this season. If he's been in less than 6 or 7, then he's in. And I've got a really great relationship with the people at Stars. I'm going to email them and pester them like I usually do and ask them about whether they will do that, because I think he has a really good chance as a nominee in that category. I mean, I know Outlander doesn't do very well at the Emmys. There's a bit of a blind spot for this show at the Emmys for some reason. But I was watching his performance and the episode as a whole and thinking back over the last 3 or 4 episodes and thinking, this is actually one of the best drama series on TV. Like, this is no bullshit. This is real. Like, this is a really good show, and it deserves more credit.
I've always said that this show is completely needs more recognition at the Emmys, hands down, from, you know, costumes to production design and makeup and everything else. It is very undervalued at the Emmys, and I really do hope Stars does put Ed Spielers in the guest category if he's eligible, because the scene for me, the tipping point was the scene in the room. We're not really sure what it was, where he and Brianna was reading him a book about husbandry, pretending it was Moby Dick. And he then starts to relate to her on a deeper level. And I was like, oh, maybe he does have some sort of core. And then the next thing, no, he does not. So I thought, Ed Spielers does such a wonderful job at Bonnet. And I've said it all along, you know, I enjoy his performance. I enjoy watching it. That particular scene gave me goosebumps. And not in a good thrilling way, in a good, oh my God, this guy is creepy as anything. And Sophie Skelton did such a great job by displaying her distaste for this guy in her slight facial features. And I was actually floored at the one point where Bonnet seems to think that she's done wrong by him. How I would have loved to have had an explanation how he would have liked to have gotten out of it. But yeah, and that she owed him for something. So
maybe there's something wrong with me, and frankly, that's probably a whole other story. But
that's a whole other web chat.
We can do that another day if anyone's interested. I can certainly let you know. But I always look for when a villain is a bit more nuanced, and examples are shows like The Handmaid's Tale, for example, where villains are not moustache. They're actually people with feelings and backgrounds and psychology and pathology. There's a reason why Ed Spielers is so crazy and messed up. He's an orphan. Okay, he doesn't understand what a mother would do to comfort a child, and he asks Brianna, "What would you do with Jeremiah?" And she says, "I would hold him," and then he wants her to do it. I actually felt for this character. That is unbelievable. I know. I didn't feel that way for Jack Black. Black Jack. Jack Black is a different person. That's an actor, but Black Jack. I just think Ed Spielers he's really he's doing a lot of heavy lifting here. So are the writers. Yeah. Megan Farrell-Burke. Well done on actually giving us a different dimension to the villain of this season, who is now gone. But I was amazed. Outlander is not to be scoffed at as just some fantasy drama with pretty people. This is a very, very well done show when they're firing on all cylinders. Yeah,
you've got to really appreciate it as a whole. And I like how I totally agree with you what you mentioned about being nuanced. And you're right, for those few minutes, or it felt like minutes, however long that little part of that scene went for, you actually felt for Bonnet. And you're like, hang on, whoa, what's happening here? I actually kind of feel for this guy. And then, then in the next few scenes, he does a complete 180 and he's a horrible person again. And then you're like, no, that didn't last. And and what a great job Sophie Skelton did in that whole thing. Even you could see she was torn. You could see that she was torn as to, do I believe this particular section, this little part of him, or do I just still wrap him up in this whole thing that I've only ever experienced with him? And so, look, this episode was all on those handful of scenes. But what I want to know is, while we're on the Bonnet train, what did you think of his ending? Well, because I'll try not to give you spoilers through the episode unless you look completely perplexed, and then I go, I think this might happen. What did you think of his ending?
We knew, you did mention this is how he dies, and it was telegraphed when he was talking to Brianna about how he feels about the sea and what the sea does. It takes souls, and he's scared of it as a pirate and as a seaman. And so you did mention that this is how they were going to, you just happened to tell me as we were watching it. But I thought, how poetic, such poetic justice. And this is Dinah Gabaldon as well, the way she wrote the book, that he finally succumbs this way. So horrifying. And then I wasn't expecting Brianna to shoot him in the head. What are you doing? And then you said, she still has mercy. Maybe. And I'm thinking, do you have mercy, or do you just want to make sure he's dead? And then Roger asks that question. That's deep. That made me think, what was her what was her motivation? And she just looks at him and she looks ahead She turns around and she walks away. So we will never quite know. I'd like to know what the viewers think. What do you all think? What do you think? I think it was that she had mercy because she's fundamentally an empathetic human being that was just like, enough is enough, bang. But you could be thinking, you raped me, you're going to take my child, you would have killed my whole family, I will shoot you in the bloody head to make sure you're dead.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like it as one of those questions that will never be answered. I like that. Because, you know, we know Brianna is very empathetic. You know, we know she's from an era where people are obviously more enlightened and that sort of thing. And then I was like, nah, it's a mercy thing because she sort of had that moment with him previously. And then when Roger said, nah, it was just to make sure that he's dead. And I'm like, whoa, no, really? Like, I don't know. And again, the answer probably is in the book. I haven't, and I said it in our last video, I haven't been keeping up with the book because honestly, I have just been enjoying this ride so much that I almost don't want to be spoiled by the book anymore. I already kind of know what's coming and I just have been enjoying it so much. So that's why I haven't been keeping up with the book. If anyone has asked me why I haven't, that is why. I'm just enjoying it as it is. But no, I quite liked it. You know, I don't know. I want to say, yeah, it was to make sure that he was dead. You know, because this guy is a slippery sucker. He got out of the prison. He escaped his first hanging. He got out of the prison. I don't blame Brianna for wanting to make sure that this guy is dead. But could it be mercy? I don't know. We'll never know. But I love the not knowing as well. I love it. Love it.
I'm actually thinking that this could be maybe one of the strongest seasons of the show so far. To me, season 2 will always be the strongest. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. I think the stuff that they did in France was what converted me to the show. I was never really a big fan of season 1. It didn't really float my boat. Season 2, I thought, oh, okay, this is good. Season 3, I thought was pretty good. Season 4, I didn't really like that much. And this season, I've been really impressed. Okay, I didn't love the regulator stuff, but that's done and dusted. Like, I don't know what we've got to expect for the next 2 or 3. I don't remember if this is a 12 or 13 episode season. Someone, of course, will probably tell us. But so far, there's probably been 1 or 2 episodes that I didn't like. Everything else has been great. Like, this cast is lived in. The writers understand the characters. It feels like a family. It feels comfortable, like we understand the motivations of these characters. They love each other. They hate certain people. Like, I'm very, very impressed with the show. I really am. And I hope it gets some recognition at the Emmys. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I think Ed Spielers is a good call. I think Maria Joel Kennedy would be a good call if she qualifies. I don't really hold much hope out for the main cast. Thankfully, I'll be interviewing most of them in next month or in June, and that will be really exciting. But in the meantime, Ed Spielers really, really impressed me. So that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, he did. He did a good job. We could sit here and talk about Outlander and the previous seasons for hours, but my favourite season obviously was the first one always, and I really enjoyed the second season. I love the second season for the costumes, to which they were robbed of an Emmy nomination.
I think they got nominated. They didn't.
Oh, they got nominated? Okay, they didn't win. Yeah. Okay, so she was robbed of a win. I'm sorry.
And that was Terry Dresbach, right?
That was Terry Dresbach back then, yeah.
We now have Trisha Bigger, who I started that up a few episodes ago. Trisha Bigger is the costume designer for this season. I will be interviewing her in a few weeks, and I have plenty to talk about with her. I could sit her down for hours. So much costume that she does on this show.
What I've said before, what I've really enjoyed is the fact that we went from Terry Dresbach to Trisha Bigger, and it's been seamless. And which I suppose is the point of a good show. You don't notice any changes, and that's what I really appreciated about it, because I knew it was coming up, because I followed Terry on Twitter and I knew it was coming, that she wasn't going to be on for this season. So yeah, but can we go back? I want to talk about the one thing that you have failed to mention, and I thought it would be one of the things you would, considering she's one of your favorite actresses. How can we not go through this video without talking about what happened to Aunt Jocasta?
Yeah, I love Maria Doyle Kennedy. I think she is a goddess. I loved her scene with the guy from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. I forgot his name. Billy Boyd. That was brilliant. I loved that scene so much. It was so funny, but also quite disturbing. And then the black guy came in and just kind of throttled him, and I was just like, I was literally like, yes, you need to die. You are a terrible lawyer. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. I was like, okay, so we already had the scene with Billy Boyd and Ed Spielers, and he's being the lawyer and he's feeding Ed Spielers all this information, because obviously, for Bonnet, he is, how did Brianna put it? Characters are fueled by one of three things. And so for Bonnet, it was money. So, because she said three things, but I think Outlander has shown characters can be driven by four things: money, love, revenge, and for Outlander, family. And so for Bonnet, he is being driven by money. He seems to think it's love, his twisted version of it, because he likes knowing that he has a son. And so he's trying to get River Run, because he believes Jemmy is his. And then we go to Billy Boyd, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what is this guy going to do now with Jocasta? Because God love Jocasta, she's so trusting. She can't see this coming. And normally she's usually pretty cluey about that, despite being blind. And he's sitting there and he's got his glue in his face, and then he comes out and he goes, "You're giving away my money." I'm thinking, hang on. How is, because he's going to get 20% of whatever happens. When Bonnet got River Run, he was going to get 20%. And I was like, you don't want to know the things I was thinking during this scene. And I'm like, oh no, Jocasta. And then she finally kicks over the table with the bell on it, and in comes Ulysses and saves the day. But I was like, it was a nice little scene to have Maria Doyle Kennedy in, but I would have liked, it was a pretty jam-packed episode already, but I would have liked to have known what happened just slightly after that bit. Maybe we might get a payoff in the next episode to know what happened. But that sort of goes to the whole, and what happens, and are they going to, what are they going to do with Billy Boyd's character? He's just there on the floor in the parlor. He's dead. What are they going to do? How are they going to do?
It doesn't matter now. It's Bonnet's dead, Billy Boyd's dead, so that whole thing will be over and done with. What have we got left to go in this season? What is now going to be?
I told you I haven't been keeping track of the book, so I can't really help you on that matter. But I don't know. I'm starting to get a bit down about it, thinking we've only got 2 to 3 episodes to go.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out now. But
and then we're back to Outlander.
it is what it is. So we have 12, so that means there's 2 more to go. Next episode is a 65-minute episode, Journey Cake. Journey Cake, it's called.
Journey Cake.
And then the finale is called What Dreams May Come, and that's on the 17th of May. And so, okay, 2 more to go. I don't know what the hell we've got left. We seem to have really taken care of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. Anyway, we should probably wrap up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Once again, we cannot tell you how much we appreciate your feedback. We really do appreciate it, so we can make these chats more interesting for you guys, because we know how much you love this show. We love it too. And so stick with Gold Derby. Not only do we have these 2 more chats to go, but as soon as this show finishes up on Stars, we will have a few interviews that we're trying to line up with the main cast and crew, because we recognise that this show is pretty wonderful, and we really do appreciate all of the Outlander fans that are with us on Gold Derby. So in the meantime, while you're at home self-isolating or socially distancing, check out all of our chats. We've got so many with so many great Emmy contenders. And in the meantime, we'll be back next week for more Outlander episode 11. And in the meantime, have a great week.